Now, yesterday, unless you were living under a rock, you saw the second to last college football playoff rankings that came out. The committee released it yesterday evening. And to be honest with you, it's really their last freebie going into conference championship week. A lot of it is going to work itself out, but there is one death scenario that I know the committee does not want to have to deal with. If Florida State wins and Michigan wins, and then Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC championship, and Texas wins, we are going to have a huge one-loss team for the final two spots problem. Now, if you look at yesterday's college football playoff rankings, Georgia was 1, Michigan was 2, Washington 3, Florida State 4, which makes sense. Those are the 4 undefeated teams. Then you have Oregon at 5, Ohio State, who didn't win their division, not playing in their conference championship game, at 6, with their only loss to Michigan on the road, Texas at 7, and Bama at 8. Those are really the teams that have a chance to make the college football playoff, 1 through 8, which makes you think, man, that 12-team playoff, that'd be a hell of a situation this year. But if Oregon beats Washington, that gives Washington 1 loss along with Oregon. Ohio State is not playing. Texas would be 12-1 with a win over Oklahoma State. And if Bama beats Georgia, Georgia and Alabama now both have a loss. Well, obviously, an undefeated Michigan and Florida State would be in, so there's 2 spots left. I don't think Oregon would drop after beating number 3 Washington, so let's say they're in. That leaves you with Ohio State, Texas, and Alabama. Now, since Ohio State didn't even win their division, you would think that a win over Georgia would boost Alabama ahead of them. Texas winning the Big 12 would boost them ahead of Ohio State, giving them 12 wins as well. Then it comes down to Oregon, Texas, and Alabama, and then Washington, who, don't forget, would be 1-1 against Oregon after having lost the Pac-12 championship game, to see who would make the Final Four. Boo Corrigan and them want this easy. Now, the easiest thing you might say would be, well, the 4 undefeated teams just win. And they would have to put them in, you would think. But to avoid all controversy, the opposite side of the death scenario is if Georgia wins, Michigan wins, Washington wins, and Texas wins. That would go ahead and take out Oregon. They would have 2 losses. Bama would have 2 losses. Texas would then jump Ohio State and Florida State to become that 4th team with really no controversy. But where's the fun in that? We know it's going to be nuts. It's basically the Joker from The Dark Knight. And speaking about the Joker, well, he's really our version of Harvey Dent before he went Two-Face. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, my brother Blaine Crane, former Western State, Colorado
I don't
wide
get a cool intro, I guess.
receiver.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, you're like Penguin.
I was like, David,
no,
fell from the heavens. Harvey Dent is amazing. And here's my brother from Western Colorado.
Yeah, and here's Alfred.
It's awesome.
But David,
Alfred.
David, we did our own top 10.
Yeah.
Right? Me and yours were very similar. The only difference is Alabama and Ohio State with both of us. Number 1, your thoughts on the rankings last night from the committee, and what do you think is the perfect top 10?
Is this not the most fitting way to have the final 4-team playoff in college football? Like this is unbelievable. We have 4 undefeated teams right now, all from different conferences that aren't going to play each other. We could have 4 undefeated Power 5 teams play in the college football playoff. That is truly incredible. And my biggest argument against playoff expansion years ago was that, hey, we haven't even seen one scenario yet where more than 3 teams can win the national championship.
We got 8.
We have 8 right now, and honestly, if it goes scratch and Georgia, Michigan, Washington, and Florida State all make it in, which I think is what should happen, you have 4 undefeated teams, it get made simple, put a bow on it. 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 9 and 10, I do think could beat Florida State without Jordan Travis. That's what I think. But I also thought LSU would beat them earlier in the year. I also thought Alabama would beat Texas. So you can only run that experiment so far. I just think we all need to sit back and enjoy the process. We do have 1 week left. We're going to get 1 verse 8. We're going to get 3 verse 5. At least 1, maybe even 2 of these teams are going to get left out who have a legitimate argument to make that they're the best team in the country, and I hate that. But I think part of the sting will be lessened knowing that we're going to expand the playoff next year.
No, and I hope this is the new normal. Like, I hope this year isn't the anomaly.
Good for college
I do not want to go back to we only have 3 teams that can win the whole thing, and now we have 12 in there. Even though it's just hard for me to think in a tournament-style play, just like we see in the NCAA tournament in basketball, even though basketball and football are totally different, maybe this parity can translate over and we see those upsets early. But I just think about these matchups and you run out the ground ball on if this was a 12-team playoff. Look at those 12 teams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you imagine Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Missouri? I mean, even Penn State, as offensively deficient as they are. And then we'd be arguing about, hey, going into this last week, how big of a game would this be for Louisville? Mm-hmm. Sitting there at 14 with a chance to make the 12-team playoff. You look at Oklahoma being able to sneak in there. Blaine, when you look at Ohio State, we disagreed a little bit on where Ohio State should be. You had it exactly as the committee had it, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I did. When we sent these before this came out, so everybody knows.
Cap.
Now that it's the same as committee, I feel like I did something wrong. Because these guys have been wrong at every step. But I feel like Ohio State's right at 6. I mean, look, you have the best loss. You lost a one-possession game on the road against one of the top 2 teams in the nation. And, you have the, right now, ranked toughest schedule in college football. So I think 6 is fine. And I think with Alabama and Texas, if they both win their conference, you will jump Ohio State. I think that's obvious. I think teams should get celebrated winning a conference, and also they should get punished for not winning a conference. And I think both those should equal out. So I do think Ohio State's fine sitting at 6.
I don't think Ohio State has a good chance to get in at all. I think there's a very narrow path. My question is, you have Penn State over Missouri at 10. I know Penn State's 2 losses are to Ohio State and Michigan, but do you think if Missouri played Penn State on a neutral site, you'd probably bet Missouri, wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah, but I feel like it'd be probably a field goal spread.
I don't know.
It'd be a pick 'em.
I just don't believe in Penn State offense.
It wouldn't be I believe in Penn State's defense. That's what I believe. Penn State can run the football. I believe they have 3 guys going probably first round on their defense, even up front. So I feel like that's not a game. There's not enough separation in that game. Hell, you could say, I mean, they got Ole Miss at 11.
I put Ole Miss in front of both of them.
I mean, yeah,
I did
Ole Miss's losses to
too.
Georgia, I mean, and Alabama.
Both on the road, too.
I think Ole Miss has the 2 best losses in the
There's an honest conversation you can have about Ole Miss, Missouri, and Penn State.
Yeah, well, we want to know what you think. Let us know. Again, it's going to be interesting. It may work itself out and make it easy on the committee. I know that's what they're hoping. But deep down, don't we want chaos? Don't you just want it a little bit? Some men just want to watch the world burn. I want to see it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You know what gives a lot of people problems? The coffee they're drinking. It's mid.
Oh, I was
not me.
Else with that.
It's average. Well, we can go down that road later.
Not my coffee.
And we know holiday prepping is a pain. And it always feels like there isn't just enough time in the day. And some people are just incredibly hard to shop for. Well, guess what? Black Rifle Coffee, they're here to keep you mission focused this holiday. It's mission possible this holiday season, you guys. Their December coffee of the month is Costa Rican Arabica coffee. I hope I said that right. Arabica coffee that delivers tasting notes of chocolate, citrus, and maple. I love all 3 of those things. All right, and they're a veteran-founded coffee company. They're operated by principal men and women. They have ready-to-drink cans as well. Rumor has it they're making a Flamin' Dragon brew.
Are they?
We're hoping. Blaine just keeps lying to us every week about it. So
First of all, I'm not lying. It's in the works. Great things take time.
Yeah, guess what? You know what you and animals in the Sahara have in common? You're both lying.
I don't know.
So
he's a 6.5.
Yeah, well, that's Mississippi State. Gunship right there. You've got a llama.
Power llama.
With a machine gun on it, which
Definitely
we call that a
terrifying.
Saudi Arabian tank. And then
Blackbeard's Delight, which is empty because I drank it. And then, of course, Cousin Ichabod,
Yes.
Headless Horseman's
Bam.
Roast. Even though we're kind of moving out of pumpkin spice territory, we're moving into a little
Peppermint
mocha December situation.
See, I'm not a huge
I, for one,
peppermint guy.
am pumped about.
But if you are a huge peppermint guy or gal, sure Black Rifle Coffee has something great for you. So save money and drink America's coffee. Go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, at checkout for 10% off your one-time purchase, our first coffee club order. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, for 10% off. You can find it in grocery and convenience stores near you. But we know you want to go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use that promo code BOOSTER. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. It's almost Christmas. Don't blow it. Also, we want to show you, if you haven't seen it already, our trailer for Lady Ballers. Because remember when we were allowed to laugh at things that were absurd? Instead of having to say that they aren't absurd at all and that in fact, they're good and you're a bad person if you think otherwise. Back when Hollywood can make comedy films like Dodgeball or Wedding Crashers or Tropic Thunder without having to toe some politically correct line, well, here at the Daily Wire, we're tired of not laughing. And this Friday, we're dropping the most triggering movie of the decade so far because it makes fun of what's stupid. It's a sports comedy about the craziest thing that ever happened to sports. Grown men who cannot beat other grown men, calling themselves women, then absolutely dominating girls who spent their entire lives training to be the best at what they do. Here's a look at the official trailer that's gone viral for Lady Ballers. Play that beautiful footage. This one's hilarious.
In a world where women's sports is being transformed, the Daily Wire calls foul with the most triggering comedy of the year.
Guys, this is serious. Sports can be your pathway to a better life.
Well, like yours?
Please don't steal my catalytic converter again. Winning matters. It's the key ingredient in becoming a winner.
Maybe you should try it sometime. Are you gonna move?
I am not.
Let's cut to the chase. I know you're not a woman.
Hey, you don't know how he identifies.
If you can beat them,
What do you know about the U.S. Opens for the Global Games?
You want us to compete as women. $5,000 prizes.
My lover says you were a great coach back in the day.
join them.
This is the way the world is now. My 8-year-old daughter told me all about it. So a guy can become a girl with no physical changes at all.
Oh, that's called gender fluid.
So I can be a woman on the court and a man in the bedroom. I can't believe it. Nice.
You mean when you're sleeping?
Yes.
Coach,
Alex,
We could play basketball.
we have to get the whole team back together.
It's time
We're in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
to play
Lady Ballers. Mount up.
like a girl.
I'm with her. Believe in my truth. This is my truth.
From heroes
Day one of being a girl athlete. I love being a girl.
to sheroes.
We could dominate every woman's sport. Running, swimming, soccer. I said sport, Felix.
It's ladies basketball, boys. Nobody watches.
Excuse me. Are these seats open?
Never mind.
Getting dunks. And tucking trunks.
No, she didn't.
That's the biggest I've ever seen on a lady.
I don't care.
Lady Ballers.
One can even be trans age now, which provides Sheelix with a wonderful opportunity to relive all the experiences that she missed out on in school.
Streaming exclusively on Daily Wire Plus December 1st.
But you can only watch Lady Ballers with a Daily Wire Plus membership. Join the Daily Wire Plus team and get $50 off your new membership right now. Go to dailywire.com/subscribe to sign up for exclusive access. Don't miss the Lady Ballers live premiere event on the Daily Wire Plus Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's December 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We're super duper excited. We get
Man.
to see it tonight
Can't wait,
with
y'all.
the premiere. I can't wait to see the whole thing. There's so many funny parts that aren't in the trailer. We're just super excited. But let's get back to college football. What's going on in the Boost Club over there?
All right, let's go to Chris. Hashtag Ask Credit Code. That would be us, fellas. Says, is Alabama being ranked at 8 makes it impossible to jump UGA to get in the playoff? Personally, I think they put Bama at 5 and GA at 6, leaving no SEC team in the playoff.
Look, the scenario of the SEC being left out, it's not, the question is, the question isn't, is it a possibility? I think it is a possibility with what happens. And Alabama has to beat Georgia, obviously. But if Alabama were to beat Georgia, let's bring the top 10 that the committee dropped last night up again. Let's bring that graphic up one more time to have a little frame of reference here. Alabama beats Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Michigan wins. Washington wins. Florida State wins. Those three teams are in. They're undefeated, right? So then it becomes Oregon's out with 2 losses in this scenario. Ohio State is 11-1, right, without playing in their conference championship. It comes down, in my opinion, to Texas or Alabama. And in that scenario, you have to go with the head-to-head and Texas. Head-to-head has to matter. I don't care. And if you're an Alabama fan, I get it. You want your team in, but deep down, you know head-to-head has to matter. If the cases were flipped and Alabama had beat Texas and this was an opposite scenario, you would be screaming that head-to-head matters. So if you take the bias out of it, if you're neither Texas nor Alabama fan, or you happen to be a logical fan, which there's about 17 of those walking around the planet, you have to look at head-to-head. The whole regular season has to matter. Now, the question is, will they do that?
Yeah.
Will they keep the SEC out? Because if Washington wins and they're undefeated, you almost have to keep them in. But you brought up them leaving Florida State out because of Florida State's quarterback. I don't think they do that. I think if there's one conference that they would say, you know what, screw you guys, what are you going to do about it? It's the Pac-12, because there is no more Pac-12.
It's the Pac-12, and I hate it. I mean, you can look at strength of schedule. Here's how I had it last night, and I thought about this for a solid hour, and there's just no.
Did you stare out your window into the woods?
I did. It was a beautiful mind situation, and still not coming up with the right answer, because there's no way, especially when we're talking about 5, 6, 7, and 8 here. We already had a problem with Oregon, Texas, and Alabama with only one head-to-head that sort of helped us. Now you throw the Buckeyes into that mix, and it sort of makes it even more difficult, because when you're looking at what I did was I ranked basically strength of schedule, okay, with the best loss and your best win, plus the eye test. That's the only way you can do this, because if you're looking at those 4 teams, Alabama has the best strength of schedule, right? But they also have the worst loss. You're the only one of those 4 teams that lost at home, and you're the only one that lost by double-digit points, where at least Oregon and the Buckeyes both get to say we lost to teams that are ranked ahead of us right now. So what I did was I put Texas at 5, ahead of Oregon, saying that their losses are very similar. Okay, you lost on the last possession to a rival team. Oregon's is a little bit better because it was a true road game, but I'm giving Texas the benefit there with the strength of schedule. I moved Ohio State back to 8 right now, or I moved Ohio State back to 7, one spot ahead of Alabama, just with the thinking that if Alabama beats Georgia like you're talking about, that would give them the best win in the country. Right? Like that gives you the best win in the country. And I think that other teams, they're playing each other ahead of you. They would then come back. I get that, you can't move Georgia all the way from 1 back to like 9 or something, but you would have to give Alabama the benefit of the doubt after you've given Texas the benefit of the doubt in that head-to-head.
No, I agree. My top 10 and your top 10 was exactly the same, except I had Bama at 7 and Ohio State at 8. That was the only thing that was different. In R2. But my thing is Ohio State can't really move up, right? They have no way to control their own destiny and move up. So all that could happen is teams go above them, right? So Alabama wins, they go above them. If Georgia loses, I don't think they're dropping to Ohio State's level or, below Ohio State, if that makes sense, because they did make the conference championship game and Ohio State didn't even win their division. Everybody on YouTube, if you haven't heard, we just released a movie. It is dropping this Friday, December 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 7 p.m. Central on Daily Wire Plus. Check it out. It's the comedy that Hollywood's too afraid to make. You're going to love it because your brain works.